Yeah, there we go. Hey now. No sound? How about now? We good now? I don't know how my mic got turned off, but whatever. Thanks, Chris, for the audio check there. Let me know. Let me know. Yeah, the sound was hacked too. How about now? Okay, good. Sweet. We'll give it just a minute. Let everything sort of stabilize here. Appreciate everybody coming out. I mean, I think a lot more people will probably be watching this after the fact. And you must forgive me, by the way. I haven't had a lot of time to put this together, so you'll have to forgive the crudity of the model. I haven't. It's not made to scale, and I haven't had time to paint it. But I think I put together a pretty good presentation here for you. The chat's lagged? Great. Well, I think it's always lagged. I mean, there's like a 15-second lag whenever I go live elsewhere. Yeah, I know. All right. We'll just give it just another couple of minutes. I know there was a couple other people I expected to pop in here. Let me see. Well, I'll tell you what. I think YouTube in general is just a little bit slow. I mean, all of you are obviously in here, and it says that there's nobody in here according to this. What's going on here? Let me refresh this. Ah, there we go. Okay, concurrent viewers 8. Well, okay, we got enough people to at least get a show going here. So thanks everybody again for showing up. Well, obviously, if you've been on the channel in the last couple of days, you probably know the channel was hacked by a Bitcoin scammer group. I don't have a ton of details, but what I do have in those details, I will share with you. If for whatever reason you might have missed out, let me show you what my channel looked like. This is what my channel looked like as of yesterday at like about 10 o'clock in the morning. So this is what MonroeWorld looked like if you missed out. And yeah, it was properly renamed to Bitcoin Magazine. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And of course, now that I was hacked, right, I was, of course, getting notifications from everybody. Hey, you've been hacked, right? Hey, dude, you've been hacked by Bitcoin scammers. Yeah. Well, once your account is locked out, you're kind of done. I mean, you don't get your YouTube notifications. You don't get your email notifications. You don't get anything. So once you've been sort of locked out of the account and your clients have been kicked out and you have no way of getting back on, it really adds to the problem. So let's talk about what had happened here. Where's my notes? I actually did try to put something together here. So let's talk about the events, how they happened, how they rolled out, and then we're going to talk about how I got back in, what I did wrong, guess because it was my fault, and maybe I can pass on some information that will be helpful to you guys, to other people who are watching this. So I was doing my regular morning just before 8 a.m. I was answering emails, which I do. I answer YouTube comments. I just try to get my cup of coffee down and go through these things. And I was working on these emails just before 8. At 8:01, suddenly I got presented with an email that says a new passkey has been added to your account. And I'm like, uh-oh, something's not right. Then, of course, my account has been disabled. That was at 8:03. Right after, now I'm still getting emails because I haven't been logged out, right? So a couple of my devices were still pulling emails. Then all of a sudden, my family group was made unavailable, right? And it's like, okay, I know for a fact I have done nothing with the family group. There is something seriously crazy going on. So I immediately reach out. Try to do an account restore, right? You do your account recovery, which I was actually able to do, right? So at 8:04, I was able to get my account back for the briefest moment of time. And then immediately, all of a sudden, it says my family group has been reactivated. That was at the exact same time that I got my account recovered. So I thought, okay, that's cool. Everything must be okay because I got logged back in, and so they turned my account back on. Well, Within a few minutes, suddenly my family group has been deleted. Completely deleted. None of my family has any access to any of my services, right? Now all of a sudden, I'm somebody's kid. So now all of a sudden, Dark Uni at Gmail is suddenly a kid being supervised by Marlon Brooks, 21 at gmail.com. Feel free to drop him a line. And my entire family had been overrun by different people. And I don't unfortunately have a picture of that, but I did want to share what I saw. Why does it say top chat? Let me go back to live chat. There we go. Stupid thing. All right, so this is 8:13 a.m., right? So it's been about 13 minutes so far. Of course, while I'm furiously trying to get back into my account, all of my recovery emails are going somewhere where I can't get them. So I can't get my Google verification code. I can't do anything. I'm kind of screwed, right? Then I start getting messages around 11 o'clock. Hey, what happened to the family group? You know, hey, I just got booted out of YouTube, blah, blah, blah. What happened? And I'm trying to look at the chat. I don't know what the capital P means. All right, let me keep going. Right. And then, so now I'm watching, I'm trying to figure out, I don't know what the damage is yet, right? I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. I know that my account's been compromised. I know that I can't get into it because I'm now in an authentication loop. So you try to log in and it says your password has been changed. Try another way. So it says, okay, send me something to my phone. My SMS picked up and it showed the code. I typed in the code and it said, one more time, how else can we authenticate you? And the only thing on the list was send an email to your recovery account. Well, there was a mistake to be made there, and I'm going to own up to it here in just a minute. So I'm basically sitting around waiting to try to, I sent off something to YouTube. I did the account recovery, and essentially after you do this a couple of times, YouTube will say, okay, listen, send us an email you can get access to, and we'll see you in 48 hours. I'm like, 48 hours? Oh my God, really? So I'm waiting, and the reports are coming in. I get something on Blue Sky. I get stuff on Discord. Everyone's saying, dude, you've been hacked. And I hop over to my channel, and this was the first thing that I saw. And okay, if anybody who knows anything about the channel or me knows that would never, ever, ever appear on my channel. Not ever, not once. Okay. So I'm thinking, okay, so somebody scheduled a live thing. 1042 came and went, by the way, and there was no show. Nothing started. So it's like, so what's going on? Again, this is all hindsight is 2020 nonsense. But at the time, I literally knew nothing about what was going on. I didn't know how I was hacked. I didn't know why I was hacked. God only knows what they're doing, right? So I think to myself, okay, so my problem was using an email for my recovery. But it wasn't a Gmail account. It was actually a MonroeWorld.com account. So you think I'd be in good shape with that. I should be able to go and get a recovery email from that address. No, I couldn't get that because once Google Domains moved everybody to Squarespace, I set up spam me at MonroeWorld.com, which is sort of my goober account. I set that up to auto forward to, go ahead, let me hear it. Go ahead. To darkuni at gmail.com, which is locked out. So my smart ass has an off-domain email account to get my recovery emails that I can't get access to. But that's okay. That's okay, right? Right? Because I should be able to go to Squarespace, change that forward recovery email to something else, and then I'm in good shape. Then I can recover the account and I can figure out what happened. So I'm, of course, trying to get on Squarespace. And they're sending me emails happily over to an account that I can't get to. Fantastic. So then I realized that for Squarespace, and again, this is all on me, I couldn't log into Squarespace because guess who used a social media account login on Squarespace? Just put a bullet in my head now, right? So I am trying to reach out to Squarespace. By the way, Square and Squarespace, not the same people. I literally screamed at somebody at Square, and they're like, "That's Squarespace, dude." And I'm like, "Oh, geez." You can only imagine how tightly wound I was at the time, right? So essentially, I pleaded dumb. I said, "Listen, I'm retarded. I'm sorry. I used a Google social media account. The account's locked out. For God's sakes, can you just convert the account? I'll give you whatever, anything. In fact, you can go in and change that email forward. Anything I can do, please." They demanded a photo ID. They demanded a transaction history, and I gave it all to them. I gave them everything that they asked for. And basically, they wanted me to get a printout from my bank that shows the last Squarespace charge. And guess what? That wasn't going to happen. One, because I wasn't going to go to my bank and get a paper copy printout. And two, it wouldn't have said Squarespace on it because I use privacy.com for all online internet transactions. So my bank doesn't know that I bought something at Squarespace. It knows that privacy.com took $13.06 from my account. That's all it knows. So now I'm really getting frustrated, right? I thought I had some way out of this, and I'm just sitting there and watching, essentially watching my channel turn into this, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm waiting patiently for Google to come up. I am doing everything that I can to try to get back in, but I can't. And in the meantime, I'm watching my channel just deteriorate in front of me. So before I tell you how I got back in, let me show you how this happened to begin with, because I think there's a lot of education to be had here. So before I talk about that, if you're a YouTuber of any substance at all, and I am not, I have 21,000 subscribers, folks. I am nobody on the YouTube blip. I am lower than pond scum, right? But even I get sponsor emails all week long. I probably get 3 or 4 sponsor emails a week. Now, that's not a lot. There are people out there with a million subscribers, 100,000 subscribers. They get hit with promotional requests nonstop every single day. In fact, they have whole teams that handle those transactions. I don't. And so I really work hard to make sure that I'm cordial to any potential sponsors. I lay things out, what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do to bring something in. And even if I'm not interested, right? Somebody's right now trying to get me to review a CarPlay adapter. And I'm like, well, you're barking up the wrong tree, pal. I'm not your guy. But if you have anything in the future, right? If you happen to have an Android Auto or something like that, some other accessory, let me know. So I try to be as kind and cordial as humanly possible. So I got an email. This was on the 24th, so 5 days prior to the hack. And basically, it's John Day from Telltale Games, basically working in partnership coordinator at Telltale Games. Now, there is a version of Telltale Games that's still around. And The Wolf Among Us 2, if you do some Google searching, will actually show that it's still in development. So I didn't think anything of it. It looked legit to me. I want to get in touch regarding this new title, Wolf Amongst Us 2, blah, blah, blah. This all listen, there's no bad grammar in here. There's no bad punctuation in here, and there's no attachments. This feels and looks just fine. So I reply, hey, I'm a huge fan of Telltale. I have to come clean. I passed on Wolf Amongst Us. I'd be interested in working it out some way to promote. I love Telltale, and they deserve everything they can get, right? So then I get another letter back from them again. And it's like, thank you so much. Glad to hear you're interested. Great to connect with you. We're preparing for the launch. Here's all of the stats, right? We're ideally looking for the content to be released between the 15th and the 6th. This is all boilerplate shit, right? If you're a YouTube content creator, I don't want to say influencer because that's dumb, but if you're a content creator, you've seen one of these. You've probably seen a lot of these over time, right? Oh, like to look forward to you. Please tell us what your standard rate is, blah, blah, blah. We'll have you sign an NDA. Again, nothing of this is out of the ordinary. So I reply, yeah, listen, I don't do compensated collaborations. I'd rather do monetized with Amazon. You provide me a copy and all the press crap. I'll do a video for it. But, the review has to be my own. I don't work off canned scripts. I don't offer Final Cut approval, blah, blah, blah. The stuff that you would hope that I'm not an asshole about, right? I just so happens that I'm between. Well, I'm not between. I've got plenty of videos to do. But at the moment, I didn't have anything huge that was on a deadline to do. So timeline's available, waiting for some product to arrive, and let's get this knocked out. I'd love to work with you. Then I get another email back. A lot of content here, right? You're going to receive an email from one of our team with all the documents, blah, blah, blah. Package will include the partnership agreement, covers details, timelines, deliverables. Again, this is all boilerplate. Almost anybody that you would talk to that has a YouTube channel that gets these sort of promotions would say this is pretty much boilerplate. We're going to go back and look at where I made some mistakes here, because there are many mistakes. Some of you have probably already seen them and have just been generous enough to not put them in the chat yet. So then I get this, and I've actually seen something that looks just like this at my office. Adobe Acrobat Sign. Acrobat Sign's a legitimate deal, right? It's a legitimate thing. All of this looked fine. Now, there's no attachment, right? There's no attachment. It's just a review and sign, something on the internet. They even provide the link in plain text below. Now, all of these things ring legit. They ring legitimate, and listen. I was taken. I was hacked. Okay? It was my fault. But if you're handling a lot of these, this probably wouldn't have made you blink twice. Now, once I clicked said link, I went to the Adobe Acrobat Sign page. Looked completely legit, by the way. And it said, cannot be completed in the browser. You need to download this signature tool. Okay, I was in a hurry. I had to get to work, right? So I clicked on it. I ran it. That was the end of the discussion. That was it. And I tried a couple of times to figure out how to sign this damn thing or to look at it. Finally, I wrote him back real quick before I started my work day and said, hey, is there some other way to do this? I can't get it working no matter what I do. I can't get the document, the NDA. Now, before you all think that I'm stupider than a box of rocks, which after today, that's on the table, I did happen to have ChatGPT open because I was working on something, and I asked ChatGPT, what is the website adobesign.app? And look what ChatGPT helpfully produced for me. That's an official site. This is what it does, blah, blah, blah. If you had any reason to ever distrust AI, this is it. Now you have your reason. When the boss at work says, why aren't you using ChatGPT? That's why. Because it is not reliable. It's a useful tool. But again, you cannot rely on it at all. So here you go. So the URL looked right. And ChatGPT told me it was a legitimate URL. So I didn't even think twice about it, started working. That's when I started getting people reaching out to me saying, you've been hacked, you got Bitcoin shit on your website. Blah, blah, blah. Now, had I not been in a hurry, had I actually done some due diligence, had I done anything, right? It's pretty easy to prove that ChatGPT is full of shit. Do a whois and look up adobesign.app and adobe.com. No. ChatGPT is full of shit. adobesign.app is not a legitimate website. As you can clearly see here. So I went back to ChatGPT because, listen, it beats searching sometimes, right? And I fed in the parameters of what happened because I really wanted to know what had happened. How much trouble was I in? What had happened, and how can I get my ass out of it? Okay. So this is what ChatGPT told me. And by the way, YouTube knows all about this stuff. And as such, Google knows all about this stuff. And yet, Google allowed these emails to come into my Gmail box that had known nefarious links to them. That Adobe, I guarantee I'm not the only guy that clicked that Adobe sign.app. Guaranteed. So this is what ChatGPT told me had happened. And this is where you must start paying attention. Because a lot of the bullshit that we've been told about security, not necessarily true. It's true, but how about that? How about that? So, what happens is, according to them, they send you some sort of an offer, but it asks you, it usually attaches a file, and it's usually something sus. There was nothing sus in what I saw, right? Especially in the active frame of mind that I was in, didn't even think twice about it. So what happens is, so at the end of the day, what ends up happening is the malware that I ran is that Adobe Sign tool. That malware reached out to my browser. By the way, I use Brave, not Edge or Chrome or one of the other high impact vector ones. Didn't save me. They take all of your cookies. They send them on up to the cloud. These people can now suddenly act like you. No login even required. So it doesn't matter if you're using a 30-word, super strong, upper, lower, symbol, number, bullshit passphrase type password. Doesn't matter. Didn't matter that I had 2FA. Didn't matter. It was a complete silent takeover. And of course, as they say right here, the attacker renames your YouTube channel to something like Tesla, Bitcoin, or ARK Invest. They set up looping live streams of fake conferences and an embed to a malicious link. So their goal is to steal crypto. Yeah, it did happen to Linux Text Tips. That was one of the things that was cited in this particular article. So this was probably, I don't know, 11 or 12 o'clock, somewhere around lunchtime, that I'm realizing that I've been completely hornswoggled and I'm pretty much dicked. Now it's up to Google to get me the hell out of this quagmire. So something, though, as I was reading through all of this stuff about, so essentially I asked ChatGPT, after this has happened to somebody, what should you be doing? And so they had a laundry list of things. I didn't take a screenshot of that. Go ask it yourself if you want. But essentially it's things like forcibly logging out, deleting your cookies, yada, 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 sweeping your system, use 2 or 3 different tools. There's a whole plethora of things to do once you've been hit. But this one is what I think they call it a silent hit. So once they're done taking your shit, they disappear. There's nothing on my system. And I've used Hitman. I've used Malwarebytes. Nothing says there's anything on my system. Nothing. It's clean. So it hit and disappeared and went away. So I was looking through ChatGPT. Again, this is, I'm starting to get later in the afternoon, and I'm still waiting patiently for Google to get back to me. Oh, yeah. I didn't even get the Wolf Amongst Us reference. That's pretty good. That's actually very clever. I'll give them points at the next hack rally when I see them. So one of the things that sort of tipped me off to try something different, because I'm waiting for Square's not going to help me. Square says if I don't send them a picture of my bank statement, they're not going to help me. So that was off the table. So I'm in a loop where I cannot recover my account. And meanwhile, they're doing this to my channel, right? And there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm running through here. I'd already done the account recovery, right? I'd already sent out this YouTube support form, right? I love this. Use Google One support if you're subscribed. Yeah, live support would be great, but I can't get in, asshole. I love that. If you just log into Google One, we can help you. Okay, did the IQ suddenly drop when I wasn't looking? Because I can't get in. And Squarespace did the same thing. Well, all you got to do is go into your dashboard and make this change. And I'm like, okay, listen. You're not listening to me. I can't get into my account. Well, did you try the account recovery? Yes. And by the way, every email exchange where they're asking you to do dumb shit is like 4 hours in between. So that wasn't going to help. So one thing that I did see, though, and I don't know why this tripped me, but it did. It said, if possible, use a device and IP address you've previously used with your account. And something in my head said, try using your phone. Because I've been doing this all on the PC, right? I'm sitting at my workbench, my work desk. I'm ready to go. And so I picked up my phone and I did the account recovery for the 9 millionth time. And when it came to the part where it wanted to do that final, okay, so yes, we've allowed you to use two-factor with your phone with SMS. Instead of saying we're going to send you something to your MonroeWorld.com account, it let me in. And all of a sudden, it was just like, change the password, blah, 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 blah. And it's that music that they play. I don't know what the name of that music is, but you'd know it if you heard it. It's that. I'm like, fix, change this. I'm in there clearing out the family crap that they put in there. I'm on YouTube. I stopped the live stream that they had going on. I deleted the stream. I deleted the managers out. Blah, 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 blah. You should have seen it. It was like fists of fury, man. And so once I got in, I managed to get most stuff figured out, except for I couldn't get my channel name back. Right? It just kept saying my channel. I couldn't change it because, you ready for this one? Choose a channel name that will represent you and your content. Changes made are only visible on YouTube. You can change your name twice in 14 days. So 14 days. And it's like, oh shit. So the hackers changed it and then I changed it back, or I tried to change it. I don't know what happened, but regardless, I'd already allocated the two changes. So what am I supposed to do? Just sit around. And listen, at least it doesn't say Bitcoin Magazine, right? At least it didn't say this. I would rather have my channel than Bitcoin Magazine, right? So then I get this nice email from Google saying, hey, good news. We've cleared up the suspicious activity on my channel. They still don't even know it's MonroeWorld. Now you need to go in and secure your shit. It's like, yeah, well, I've already gone in and secured my shit, but thank you. And then I get another email follow-up from, so there's like different groups at YouTube, right? There's security groups, there's basic, I can't do anything over level 0 groups. And so then I finally get, so this was 16 hours ago, right? So not that long ago. Basically, we have confirmed your channel was hacked. No shit. And we have recovered your channel. We've taken steps to remove unauthorized videos or playlists added by the hacker, restore the channel, blah, blah, blah. Where possible, we'll put your name and your handle and your avatar, your description and shit back. But in some cases, due to YouTube's data retention policies, 24 hours, we may not be able to restore the previous avatar or banner. That's okay. I got those laying around. You'll see a default placeholder image and no banner. Now, we strongly suggest you revert all the changes, yada, yada, yada. Roll changes back to avoid being suspended, all that good stuff, right? Yeah, and of course, there's all this other stuff. Then I reached out to him and said, okay, thank you, that's great, but, dude, I can't change my damn channel name back. And they did get back to me, like, within 5 hours, which was nice of them, right? They got back to me and said, yeah, we understand your channel name needs to be reverted to this. We've raised the thing, blah, blah, blah. And yes, my channel was reverted, and now I am pretty much back in business. Everything is as it was before. So this whole thing happened due to a perfect alignment of fuck ups. Most of them were on me. So let's see where we went wrong, shall we? So first off, my recovery mail was a forward to my Gmail account. Big mistake. My solution, I signed up for a Proton Mail account. That is now my recovery account. So there is no implicit or explicit ties between my recovery email and my Gmail account. That was dumb. That was really dumb. But in my defense, MonroeWorld.com used to be hosted on a shared server. I used to have my own email server. I used to pick all that stuff up. So when I set it as my recovery, it probably wasn't as dumb as it was once I got hacked. All right. My domain forwarder was locked up behind a social media login account. Mother of all fuck ups, right? So you know how it is. You're too damn lazy to sign up for something. I think in the case of Squarespace, though, not that I wouldn't have done this because I totally would have done it and it still would have been my fault. But I believe when Google Domains migrated to Squarespace, we were required to sign in with our Google account. So that's when my social media login was made. So while I definitely could have done that myself, in this case, I think it was Squarespace that made me do that. Next, third, my real-time virus checker was turned off. Why was it turned off? I don't remember. I turned it off for something, but it was off. Would that have stopped it? Don't know. So, but again, my fuck up, right? Nobody else to blame but that. And as you probably have noticed, I missed a few things in the emails. And I think that would be interesting for us to look through. Shall we? Let's go back. Let's roll back the clock here. So, let's take a look at this. You probably say, dude, look at that name. Look at the name that it was sent under. Come on. It's from pelaquariuslowcost.com. Now, normally I would think that was crazy, but I've seen enough sponsorship emails to know that it's rarely somebody at telltalegames.com that's sending you emails. They hire PR people, and those PR people, believe it or not, use contractors, right? Because they don't want to hire anybody. That costs money. So basically it's Telltale, a PR firm, and then a subcontractor. So it doesn't even faze me to see somebody's name that doesn't look like Telltale Games, right? Most people, maybe they would have thought something about it, but I've seen so many of them. My knowledge was my weakness in this case, right? Let's look at the next email. When I hit reply, I didn't notice that this changed. Suddenly, so the reply to and the from were obviously different. Not something that you would have seen on here. And yes, I could have looked at the mail header. Yes, I could have told that who I was replying to wasn't necessarily the same person as who sent me the mail. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if that doesn't happen. So I might not have even questioned it had I noticed it. So here, now we're back to Telltale Games. Now let's see what we got here. So it was partnership. It was Jan Day. Then it was partnership. And then it was Telltale Games. With no... Now see, without it actually exposing the full email address, to me that says there's a trust. It didn't show that in Gmail. Another assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups, right? So while it said Telltale Games, it didn't... These were days apart, folks. It didn't occur to me. In fact, if anything, it looked more legit now than it did at the beginning. All right, so basically, yeah, so now I'm replying to Telltale. So this one was fine. I let them all know, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now it's still Telltale. This all looks good. There's no attachments, right? So, yeah. There was nothing in there to be remotely suspicious to me. This should have been a sign, but again, I am not new to Adobe Acrobat Sign. It's just handled a little differently in my office. They also exposed the link, and I did double check that link was actually a real link. And of course, we all know that the biggest fuck up was me running over to ChatGPT and saying, hey, is this a real website? Sure is. Why don't you just put your name, address, and your photo ID in there, asshole? Thank you so much. Right? And of course, at this point in time, once I got here, it should have been blatantly obvious that there was a problem. I was in a hurry, so I buzzed through this whole Adobe Sign thing. That's where they got me. My fault. And had I paid enough attention, Adobe would never, ever, ever, ever let their logo be butchered like that. Any sort of trademark, IP, copyright, logo shit, they would never, ever, ever have presented it that way. That should have been the, thank you, Chris, for your kind $2 donation. I appreciate that. That should have been a good sign. But again, it would have been too late at that point, right? What could I have done at that point other than say, oh boy, I think I just fucked up. Then all of a sudden, all the emails and the family shit being turned off, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there you go. So that was what happened, right? even though I looked at the link, I did everything that I thought. I did like level 1 scrutiny. From going forward, I'll be doing more like level 2 and 3 scrutiny, right? So yeah. So, you know, what do I do with something like this? What have I learned, right? Well, obviously, I turned on more authentication. I turned off my backup codes. I am not 100% sure. I swore I saw something about a backup code, but maybe it was passkey. At first, I thought that I had my backup code stolen somehow. I don't know how that could have happened, but listen, I was reaching for things. I did not realize that the Adobe logo was fucked up, right? I now changed to a recovery email that's outside the ecosystem. And the things that you really need to do right away, which is, of course, attempt your account recovery, right? Once you're in there, look around, because there's a ton of stuff that somebody could have done in your account while you weren't looking. Check that family, right? If you have an AdSense account, better go check that too. God only knows where they may have routed your payments to, right? There's a number of different things that you need to go through, like a step-by-step when you're recovering that YouTube account. And for whatever you do, and I'm going to include these links to the things that I found, right? You need to contact the YouTube account people right away, because they're two separate things. Google account and YouTube account, two different ecosystems, two different everything. And I was waiting for Google to save me when I probably should have reached out to the YouTube group to take care of business. And the reason I know that they know all about this is because they sent me, and I don't know why I couldn't find it in my email, but whatever. Maybe it was online that I did it. There's a questionnaire that they ask you all sorts of interesting questions. By any chance, were you looking at a sponsor email just before you realized you were hacked? Yeah, that was actually one of the questions. And I'm like, son of a bitch, right? It's like, oh, I can't believe it. I was taken. They got me. And had I reached out to YouTube first, after I realized that Google had me locked out, that might have worked out better. Hard to say, you know. Hindsight's 20/20 here. But there's a lot of lessons to be learned, right? And it wasn't just one thing that I missed. It was a couple of things that I missed. And so let's be honest, it could have gotten a lot worse, to be honest. It could have been catastrophic. They could have just reached in and deleted my account, my YouTube account. You can't get that back. Once you delete it, it's gone. I mean, I got like 2,000 videos or something up there. Gone. It would have just been poof, gone. Right? And so once I did get back into my account, there were some things that I did find that had not been cleaned up. They had left the managers. Sundar Bihar or something like that was one of my YouTube channel managers still. So they missed that. I don't know how they missed that up, but I went to the managers and cleaned that out. So you got to look around. You got to spend the time. So anywho, that's what happened. The downtime of the channel, downtime for my account was probably 8 or 9 hours. Again, could have been worse. The channel itself was compromised for probably 5 or 6 hours. But by the time the 6 hours was over, it was one step from being, BitcoinHaven.com, right? So anywho, that's it. That's what happened. Hopefully somebody out there watching can learn from my epic fuck ups that, there's a right way and a wrong way. Sometimes you got to do the scrutiny. You got to spend the time. You can bet that I'll be looking very closely at all sponsor emails now. It's really sad. But I guess it's the cost of doing business, right? That's why, LTT and these other channels have like teams that's what they do all day long is go through sponsorships, and they scrutinize and they do all of that work. And even he got hit. A channel that thrives on being technically savvy got hit. Anybody can. It can happen to anybody. Happen to you, happen to me, can happen to any of us. So, yeah, the hijack is crazy. It is crazy how easy and how silently they can get in. They set a passkey. That's how I knew something went wrong. Had they not set the passkey, they would not have had my attention as soon as they did, right? They messed with my family. If they hadn't done that, I wouldn't have known about it. Now, the only reason I knew anything had happened was because I was uploading my latest video, the one on GeForce Now, and suddenly I was booted out of YouTube. That was the catalyst that made things work, that made my mind start thinking, there's got to be something wrong here. So anyway, that is what happened. I mean, there's like 18 people watching. There's only a couple of people in the chat. If you have questions or anything, now's the time. I won't keep everybody forever. It's already been 40 minutes, and I do have other videos to do. So I thought it'd be nice to let everybody know, maybe pass around a little knowledge. You know, sometimes in life you got to be humble enough to admit that you made the mistakes, and hopefully you can better yourself by helping other people not make them. So I learned a lot in the last 48 hours. So it was interesting stuff. But yeah, it looks like everything's back to normal now. Of course, if you see anything weird on the channel that maybe I missed, I mean, I've been scouring through everything, but you know, I could have missed something. So, oh, Red Boil, I'm already done, man. You should have been here 40 minutes ago when I started this nasty thing. Fortunately, I do have the DVR turned on for this, so once we're done here, you'll be able to get a copy of it, and you can watch the beginning of it. So I guess that's it. There's nobody has any questions. I see the users are dropping like flies. That's great. It is Friday night after all, and God knows you don't want to sit here listening to me the whole night. So I appreciate everybody that came in. Thank you so much for the donations and for the peace and love, and all of the people that tried to reach out to me during the course of the hack. I eventually got some of them. A couple of you reached out through alternate means like Blue Sky and let me know, that sort of thing. I appreciate that. I appreciate everything. What are my four? Shut up, Chris. How can I ban you from the chat? You're hereby banned. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I can't. Never mind. I wasn't going to ban you. Oh, I can put you in timeout though. Hide user. Yeah, I don't have any forecast for Bitcoin. I can give you a guaranteed forecast on Bitcoin. There will be no money spent from my wallet on it. How about that? There's your forecast. Alrighty then. Well, I guess that's it. Peace and love. Peace and love. And I love my friends. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks again so much for spending some of your Friday with me. If you guys like these live streams, of course, you know, leave a note down below. What would you like me to cover, man? I was thinking about doing an AMA on Steam Deck and something like that. I've got some ideas. No autographs, please, please. No more. Open the door. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks again so much, and take care. We'll see you next.